We'd like to sincerely thank our Patreon supporters. Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm standing in front of the house and in front of the remaining iguanas and their rolling enclosures. This enclosure is empty because this was Trace's enclosure. Trace is already outside next to Blue, but we still have Angus and we still have Frank and Tequila to move outside. I think the next appropriate step is to move Frank and Tequila, since it's two lizards in that 4x4, wasp was about to try and land on me, that 4x4x6 enclosure. I would like to get the two of them outside, at least into one enclosure if I can't get the two done. I want them all outside in the larger enclosures ASAP, and I want these cages off my driveway. There's no more cool nights, and I'd like these cages back behind all the enclosures, whether they're full or empty. I know in one of the up and coming videos, I want to move the demurrals to one of the large enclosures with a larger water source and let them enjoy that. Put more plants in there and set up something really fun for them. And I believe we have a very interesting trade coming up with the, I think we call her Jabba, the female guru het sulfur. I think we have something really cool. I'll announce that when it's happening. But also back there, we have to hurry up and get past this because we have a whole bunch of animals to shuffle around and get animals next to their proposed mates. So we have a whole bunch of shuffling to happen in the back cages, but this stuff needs to be done first. So let's get started. All right, now I'm in the hallway and looking at the enclosures. I see that we have to set the door stops for these two. While I'm at it, I'll probably set the door stops for all the rest. You know, it's funny. Trace is in her enclosure and her door stop's not even set. So we might as well do that at the same time as well. We'll finish the door stops, but specifically in the two enclosures, we have to build their pass-through door, remove the forms from pouring the slabs. There's the form on both of these last two slabs. Bury the boards that stop the lizards from digging underneath the slab. I think all the shelving is done in all of them because we raced through that. I've got to remove that lumber. This enclosure is actually really high with sand, and this one still needs the dark dirt to be dug out. So I think I'll dig the dirt out of this enclosure, because that's part of the step, and put some of the excess dirt from that enclosure in here, and then get the white dirt in here. That would knock out both enclosures as far as dirt. That's the worst part of this job. I think Kagan and I kayak fished, I think she said 16 miles 2 days ago, and I've been missing my race league, so I haven't been training, and oh my god, my legs are so sore, my glutes, like I am just ridiculously sore. So the digging's going to be extra fun. It's hot, but at least there's a breeze today, so that might make it a little better. Then the last enclosure here is going to be Angus's, but I think we're in less of a rush to get him out here. He's by himself in that 4x4x6, and you know, we rushed to get Trace out to hopefully make Blue more comfortable. Blue, the Lewisii hybrid, and he's still, what are we going on, 2.5 weeks maybe, and he still will only eat food offered by hand. If you leave food in a tray, he won't touch it. Only hand feedings. So that's made it a little difficult. Rupert mentioned in a text that that Blue has done this before for 3 weeks, so we're coming up on that. And then because a guest handled him, and then all of a sudden he just fired off and started eating normal again. So hopefully we get that very soon. I would love to see him fire off and just start eating good. We've even done higher protein foods like baby chicks and rat pups and stuff like that, just to get more nutrients in him, because he was getting a little thin. It can happen quickly. Imagine if you stopped eating for 5 days. And again, he didn't make it 5 days without eating. It was just little bits that were offered by hand, just nothing on his tray. He's not filling his belly like he needs to. I could just sit here and talk instead of actually doing the work, but I gotta get in there and do the work. There's a lot of work ahead of us, so I'm gonna get on it. I'll show you guys once I complete a step. Working my way down the hallway, this is the very last door stop I have to do, and it's where the Russian tortoises and Trace are, Trace Leges. And I gotta move you out of the way just for a moment. Oop, I'll move your greens right there. You good. How long until Trace jumps on my back? All right, so I am gonna have to close the door for a second, because the very first one that I set is this one. I close the door and I bring this to close whatever gap I have. Right now, I should have probably a finger length. So I'm gonna get this closer to the door. It's what holds the door nice and square. So if I close the door, yeah, the gap's about a 1/2 inch right now on that. My back temporary screw out, move that gap to where it's about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so now what I do, so what I look at is what my space is right here, just short of a 1/2. So all I do is move this, maybe it's a two-handed thing, but I move it where I have a 1/2 inch on the 4x4 post. So Trace is inching her way closer. And then I'll put these 2 screws in. Let me do that with 2 hands. And I'll do what you should never do. I'm using my drill for a hammer. Then I do the same up top. 1/2 inch of gap. Am I about to have iguana on my back?
You might.
Let's be ready.
She's thinking about it.
I think she's thinking about how to jump right past me to you. All right, so now I need to close it again. All right, so now, remember the door closed super easy before. Now it's got a tension because the door has a little twist. The door was closing, so it's very tight at the bottom and it's very relaxed. But the door stop will allow the door to, once it gets rained on and a couple heat cycles, to correct itself and sit properly. So on the bottom, take out the middle temporary screw. So I took out the middle screw. Now I use my drill for a hammer, that you never do. Why would I do that when money is precious, right? I'll tell you why. Because these new drills, they don't last like they used to. If I'm in one drizzle or humidity, these brushless drills, they just die. They don't last like they used to. I think you could own the same cordless drill for 6 years, 8 years before. Now it seems like it's only a season. So that door is loose up there, so I'm just making it even with the other board. And then just somewhat close to the door over on this side. That's it. That's the last one. No more door stops in the enclosures. It's so nice to be past the step, right, Trace? this girl. When do we get her in the play area?
Okay.
How does that feel?
Oh, it doesn't feel great. It hurts a little.
Short sleeves, not the call.
No, it never is. only because of the heat. But never for iguana claws.
Okay, God, I'm out of breath, guys, and I haven't even started the serious digging yet. I think I'm gonna use the tractor to move the dirt that I pull out of the other enclosure to the hill. Get my hands off of it a couple times. If I just filled 2 buckets at a time, carried them to the tractor right there, dumped them in, and then drove the tractor and used the tractor to dump it and come back, might be eliminate a couple lifts for myself. Whew. Man, I am wiped from the other day. It's funny how things like that can have a ripple effect. So I need to dig everything out. The board is done, so nothing can dig under that slab. And you see it's only tacked on with 2 Tapcons or concrete screws. The dirt pressed up against it is what really makes it super solid against the slab, because if an animal digs right there, a tunnel right there, the dirt over there is what's kind of holding it in and doesn't allow the board to move. The Tapcon is suggestive. It will probably rust out in a year or two's time anyway, but the board being there will eliminate it. And then one day that board will probably rot and an animal will find its way underneath, and then it's just a maintenance thing, digging it up and re-Tapconning another board in. Maybe at that point the funds will be there, since we're not building everything at the same time. We'll put 2x6s there, or maybe I'll pour concrete, who knows. But this one's even cleaner. This enclosure really just needs to be filled to that line, basically where the white sand is there. It's a little low in the corner, but significantly high in the rest of the enclosure. So I think once we level this enclosure out, a lot of white sand will be removed from here and can go into this enclosure. So let me get the tractor, get set up, and let me dig out this enclosure. If I could do that, I would love it if Kagan walked out here, and it would be awesome to jump on getting this one done and maybe moving the rest of that dirt. I have a need for that white sand for one of the future things after we finish these iguana enclosures. So I need to see as soon as possible what we have left, so we can order, possibly get the better draining sand this next time around. It'd be nice to be able to have that to mix with this other dirt for the lay boxes, as well as the, you know what, why don't I just spill the beans? The white throats are all moving where their enclosures are, and I would like the white dirt underneath Frosty and Glacier. The females, their pattern's a little bit dirtier anyway, so I don't think it makes a significance for them. But those males with their brilliant whites, I would like to keep them clean. Otherwise, we would never get to enjoy those whites. So that's where I'm at. I'm stalling. So I'm gonna get that tractor and get to digging and move all this dirt. All right, guys. I have Frank's enclosure leveled out. It's all basically at that line where I want it. So, and I rinsed it down. Now we're clear to start framing out that door and hanging the hinges and lock set for that. Priority will be getting this enclosure done, because we could move them both into this enclosure ASAP, and it would be more than twice as large as what they're in now. So here's Tequila's enclosure, and this is the extra sand that I pulled out of the other enclosure. And then you could see how low I have it dug down. It's about 6.5 inches of substrate in here. Some of them are considerably higher than that. And I'm gonna have to, in the back corner, just pile up the sand for her to have a place to dig. You can even vaguely see the mesh screen that is, you know, the concrete floor, and then the mesh screen there for the drainage. You know, it's not fast drainage, it's natural drainage that will regulate with the water table. The water table will suck up the water like a sponge if the water in the cage is higher than the water table, obviously. Florida's very good at that. Really good draining soil. So I'm gonna stop for lunch, get rehydrated, because I can't keep up out here, and cool off a little bit, and then we'll move the additional buckets of sand in here, and then I will probably slow down, do the door, and then it's just, after that door, it's just branches, hide box, water tub, animals. And then we'll see if we can't get tequilas done today as well, because I would love to give them this giant area to explore and room to get away from each other if they want to. Maybe Tequila wants her own space sometimes. Yeah, I can't even think straight. I'm gonna go get some lunch. All right, now I have Tequila's enclosure full of sand with a good hill right there. Now it's past 90, it's well past 90, and there's no wind at all. It took me a while to cool off after lunch. Again, this enclosure is good. Now I need to work on this door, and it's been a while since we did one of these pass-through doors, and maybe before when we did them we just rushed past them. Basically all I do is build the frame inside this space. The top is just gonna follow that top board, the bottom is gonna follow that bottom board, maybe even in a little bit because we want it to clear. But once I have it cut, before I do the hinges, the side trim, see, again, it's hot, I'm skipping a step. The side trim, I give it a good like 1/4 inch space. And then I cut that with the skill saw on both sides of that space, and then use a jigsaw to clean it up on this side and the other side. I'll show you guys as I do those steps, because basically I'm making a door out of an already existing wall. There are ways to do it very clean. This is a way to do it very quick. This is just rough carpentry, this part. And you know, the wall is already supported by this casing, so that could be removed and the wall is all still strong. So let's go ahead. Oh yeah, and we want the door to swing this way towards the door instead of into the room that way. And we don't need to do the door over here because this is going to be between Frank and Tequila and Angus. It's there in case we ever move animals around. All we have to do is build that door. Now Trace is out exploring. It's so funny with her, nothing stops her with her 3 legs. I actually caught her on the shelf panting today from the heat, and look, so she goes around that 4x4 and climbs up onto her shelf to be by me. Oh, so there's the panting again. And what I did last time is this hose is in the shade. Oh, same thing she did last time. She got a little startled by it, but then it definitely helped cool her off and she liked it. Ah, does that feel good? Ooh, Trace. She's gonna start making that a habit, thinking that I have time to do this every time. It definitely makes a difference for me. I'm gonna hose off in a second. Okay, now that doorway is framed out, and exactly as I was showing you, the top trim piece is even with this corral board there. Now I don't need, oh shoot, I did it backwards. I put the hinge side over here. You know what? I'm just gonna go with it. It doesn't matter because it doesn't swing behind the water thing, the water tub. It works when the door's on the other side And the water tub's here, the door swings open, and the water tub keeps the door open when you want to keep the animals together. But the water tub will be in this corner in this enclosure, so I guess it doesn't matter. So, as I was saying, I'll keep the trim about 1/8 of an inch away on the hinge side, because that swings out and it's not going to rub. This side needs more clearance, because as it swings, the back side of that door is going to get very close to this trim here. So it needs more space. So what I'm going to do is cut the top half of this and then install the hinge here. And then once this hinge is done, then I'm going to cut the bottom half, and then I can install the bottom hinge. And then we'll do the same. We'll cut the top portion of this and then install the latch, and then trim the bottom portion of that. And that'll hold it all together, keep it in its same place as we're doing it. I'm gonna get started. All right, pass-through door works perfect. But I don't think it's probably gonna sit open like that almost all the time until they get to a certain age where Tequila is maybe laying eggs, which could be in a year or so. So, you know, that pile of dirt is there for her with the depth for her to dig to let us know. So the next thing to do is to start getting tons of branches and pulling it into these 2 enclosures and setting them all up. I want to have a lot of branches. They climb a lot. These are, well, probably Frank is probably Kagan's favorite animal right now, or at least the one I see her interacting with the most. I know Trace was it, but I think Frank has stolen her heart. I should watch out for Frank. Blue has the potential, but he's got to come around and start eating and showing his sweet side. We know he has a sweet side because of all the videos we saw before he came to us. So eventually that's going to happen. I'm going to get all the branches, start cutting, figuring, but I think I'm going to lay it out very similar to how I did Blue's and Trace's oak tree branches, which we will replace later. And very similar to that. I'll go ahead and get started on that. I did want to mention putting the shade cloth next to the hallway really does a good thing for seeing your animals, because you see where the animals are to be cool. The animals are up front. There's Glacier. They're cooling off on the side closest to you, which makes it great to see your animals. Boba's underneath his water, her water, his water, I don't know yet, but is in the front of the enclosure, which really is good for seeing everybody. It's funny, the whitethroats are sitting there and they're going to be moved very soon. Yeah, I'll stop talking. I am stalling like crazy today just to not go back out in the heat. Yeah, I'm gonna load up the branches and start figuring these 2 enclosures out. I have branches all done. I think this enclosure's okay. This enclosure's, I think I got better branches in this one. Much larger, more interesting. We'll add more as time goes on. But they have a way to get to the front shelf in both enclosures, a way to get up. It'll work for now. Oh gosh, oh, he's still up front. So Blue actually came up to the front of his enclosure. Good to see you, buddy. And he's staying up front. Just shot a Patreon video and he's hanging out there. Look, Trace is gonna pant. Are you panting because you want the hose, Trace? She was just in the sun and then came to the shaded side of the enclosure. I think they all are to cool off, just like the whitethroats and everything. Very cool. Did I just say that like 10 minutes ago in this video? I'm gonna go get Kagan and see if I can't get her help to move the animals out to their enclosures.
You ready?
What do you think, Frank? You ready for a move, bud?
Not into jumpies today.
I think he's ready for his new enclosure. More shade options,
Wow,
more
Frank.
space.
Guess where we're going? Yeah. This will be the longest carry with Frank,
Yeah.
distance-wise. He's come into the house with me a couple times just because he's jumped on me while I was in the middle of doing stuff, and you just can't put the baby down in the middle of holding him. So he came inside with me a few times, and then the other day, who did we have here? Oh, Ryan came over, and we brought Frank over in front of the lake. And Frank did very, very well. But this is a long carry for him. Experiencing new things.
The walking and bouncing,
Yeah.
picking something up and then walking are two different things. Oh no, Blue went away. I was hoping Kagan would get to see Blue up front. The door's wide open. You can go into either one. I'll close this door.
Look at
This one's got better branches.
Look at this, Frank.
He's not crawling off of you.
No, he's not. Frank! Frank! Come on, buddy. Come on, let's check this out. Let's check this out.
He is really trying to stay on you. So funny.
Ooh. You brushing my hair for me? That's nice. Oh, look at this, Frank Meister. Ooh. Oh my gosh, Upgrade City, huh?
Whole bunch of space for the two of them.
Oh, wow, Frank. I would reward you with snacks, but you've already eaten so much today. Oh, wow. He looks so good up on that shelf.
Yeah. So much more space for him. Huh.
You can see
His reflection, I think, in the eye of the camera.
You probably see Trace moving around over there. He's so calm, though. It doesn't surprise me that this is pretty unfazing for him. Although I think he's going to get so much enjoyment out of being out here.
I hope so. Because it was a lot of work. All right, so now we need to get Tequila. She's a little feistier, so we've got to figure out a game plan for that long carry. We'll be right back. All right, so I'm gonna stand back. Kagan is going to feel out Tequila's calmness, feistiness. She actually seems a little spicy.
But she's still, I mean, you can see she didn't used to do this. The whole, when they posture up and lift their tail up and pose, that's her being accepting of the pets. But we'll see, let's see what she does. Come here, girlie.
Because there's no, you want her to be comfortable in your hands, but if we're halfway there and she gets a little squirmy, then it's forced handling, and that's a backward step on socialization.
Yeah.
We definitely don't want to get to the backward step.
I guess into the hide box and board up the front.
Yeah. So I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get her into the hide box Put a board on the front of it so she can't get out.
Look how big she's gotten.
And carry her in the hide box, which will be a nice easy carry. We also need to bring the water and food tray, because that will be another empty enclosure up here. We're getting them empty. Heck yeah.
She's right at the front.
She's like, wait a second, you guys just locked me in a box. Oh. Get all that stuff outside. Oh.
Get some posing. Oh, there it is. Yay.
So if there was a separation, this would be Frank's side.
Yeah.
And she would have the large mound of dirt. But I have a feeling that that door is gonna stay open.
Frank, there's a door down here. Frank, there's a door. What do you think? Frank, you gotta join the party over here.
He's like, yes, please. He's ready. Are you gonna show him where the pass-through door is?
Oh, yeah. I can do it, Mom. Look at this, buddy. Yeah, a little gritty. Okay.
You know what's funny is
Trace did that too.
Trace did the same thing. Whole bunch of tasting the dirt. Look at her looking at all of her space. That is funny. Tequila is eyeballing everything. Like, wow.
I wanted him to come in here too so that she would see him in the same space and maybe feel a little bit more comfortable. Although she seems fine.
Absolutely.
She seems totally fine. Despite a golf cart ride. I think out of the four of them, she was the one I was the most nervous about. But she's doing great.
And they have their familiar hide box. I tell you what, this sand feels really nice.
Yeah.
It's much cooler than the dark dirt. The sand, I could lay on this and take a nap.
That's what Pete does all the time.
Oh, well, I get you, Pete.
Look at this. Happy girl. Well, Frank found the hide box. What do you think, buddy? Oh, man.
Such a good feeling. All that work, they approve. We obviously approve. And it's going to be nice to get some plants in here, some grasses that can withstand the animals. And I think they'll be good. think they'll be happy. Look at all the space they have to walk around.
You want to see up top?
Tequila's finding her way to that front shelf and looking down. I just looked at the camera and I'm not getting the best shots by being so far away, but I also don't want to stick the camera like too much in their face. They don't love the straw hat.
Look at her belly.
She's-
I think we're getting her outside at the right time. And what's going to be cool is now that she's on a true substrate with some depth to it, we'll be able to know if she actually starts digging.
Yeah, we'll see her digging around, but like I said, in her enclosure, I have that deep
Yeah.
sand corner, which I assume she would choose.
Over there checking out your hat.
I could tell you guys right now, I don't think Kagan and I are going to get anything done the rest of the day. I think this is our day. We're just going to sit in here and watch them explore. It's so cool. More interested in the entire enclosure than almost any other animal that we've put into a new enclosure.
I mean, you see them like tilting their heads, looking up and down.
I was trying to figure out if he can eat my hat. Like 4%. Perfect. Well, on that note, let's just end it right here, guys, because we're going to have updates. I'm happy. Kagan's happy. The animals are very happy. Couldn't ask for anything more. All right, guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Comment. And we'll see you soon.